Welcome. Welcome to the Scott Free Podcast. I'm your host, Atlas Scott, with Olivia Scott as the other better host. And welcome to our Yap session, number 19.
Is it?
Yeah.
We're almost to 20. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to finish number 18.
Wow. Yeah, so we kind of fell behind on podcasts. Of course, Willow's playing with the blinds right now. Stop. Stop it.
Well, I would spray her, but you have the thing. Let's spray bottom.
Stop it. I think she's trying to, but her claw's stuck.
I just need you to not do that.
Anyway, as I was saying, we've missed the past couple of weeks podcast-wise, and so we did a catch-up, nearly 2-hour long episode. It's probably less than that now, isn't it?
It's 90 minutes.
Okay, never mind.
But that is the longest episode we've done.
Still the longest episode that we've done.
Not including the part episodes, which is funny.
Yes, but that one we recorded 3 or 4 days ago on Wednesday. It's Sunday. So we don't have a lot to talk about from this week, but we do have a little bit. So we're going to kind of be diving into topics, trying some new things out, and kind of going from there. Agree? Yeah. So something we haven't talked about on here before, but I was reminded of last night when Atlas was going through your file cabinet to pull out your journal. Atlas has always kept a journal. Is that right?
I mean, not always.
But for a long time. Many years.
Yeah. Technically, since the beginning of Zenith, the creation of Zenith, which was pre-Zenith, technically, so GOD.
Yeah. And so, you've kind of documented your emotions, your arcs, your setbacks, your life over many years.
And the good stuff, too.
All I said arcs.
You said arcs, which is not necessarily positively connotative.
Oh. Well, and positive things, too. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. But he specifically had a entry about the first day that we met. And then another entry from when he went, or I guess multiple entries, from when he went on his retreat to do some self-discovery and confirm whether or not he wanted to marry me. What in the world? I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh my gosh. She's not going to do it now that you're recording. She's being insane.
Well, she's doing something right now.
She locked her claw with her other claw. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, as I was...
She just wants attention now. Sorry for the audio listeners. For the record, it's going to be a bit.
I'm so sorry. Willow is being insane on her cat tree right now.
She's within... If you want to check the video out on YouTube, you totally can. But for the audio listeners, we have Willow struggling within the cat tree, specifically the little cove that's on the second level, third level, depending on how you see it. And she gets stuck easily with her claws, which is confusing because you can retract them. And she doesn't know how to stop doing what she's doing. It's the first time she's moved this way all day, for the record. She has just been chilling with us.
She did that when we weren't here.
This is true. She
no!
She clutched it and she went back.
No, back to this. Stop.
She's like, what? What did I do? What did I do wrong?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. What I was saying is that going and reflecting on Atlas's journals reminded me that I started keeping a journal for the first time as soon as me and you started to become a thing. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I did was because after the first night where we really hit it off, I had this weird feeling in my gut that I was going to marry you. And that's literally, I went to Target and got a journal just so that I could write down all the details because I figured it would be something sweet. And then after it became very apparent that you were going to be the person I marry, I started to think that this was going to be something I'd give to him on our wedding day, and that's what I did. But it is very long, and you've not had a chance to read through all of it. You've read some of it. But I thought it would be cool because we've been trying to do some sort of like icebreaker thing at the beginning of each episode to just kind of like throw out a page or two of the journal and kind of talk about it. And yeah, obviously censor things if they don't need to be talked about because some things are personal. But anyway, here's this. We met on September 6th, 2021 at a 21 Pilots concert. On September 20th, we went to a Glass Animals concert together. This entry was on September 21st. And it is cute. At the beginning of the book, it's Olivia Murtha. I'm not Olivia Murtha anymore, y'all. So we start off with some confetti from the 21 Pilots concert. So many beautiful things are happening in my life lately, and I've been feeling so blessed and grateful. So I want to start writing everything down. I think it is something I will appreciate in the future. A couple weeks ago, I got to go to 2 21 Pilots concerts at the American Airlines Center. I will remember that weekend for the rest of my life. Me and Emily woke up at about 5 a.m. and drove to the venue to get wristbands. There was a sweet family in line in front of us, and I gave the kids some of my bracelets I made. I made like 80. Once the line started to move, we overheard the dad realize they only got 4 tickets rather than 5. My heart sank for them. And to make things worse, when they were about to go get their pit wristbands, they found out that they had terrace tickets. My heart ached for them all day. I got number 194 and Emily got 196. We weren't sure what happened there. We got to sign a poster for the boys. I wrote, "Thank you for sharing your art with us." Me and Emily didn't come back to the venue until around 4 p.m. And after tons of shuffling around, the line eventually became stagnant, and I started talking to these 2 girls sitting next to us. I offered them bracelets. We got to talking. They were both from the Lubbock, Abilene area. Cassidy was 22 and Fiona 20. I also noticed a guy sitting by himself. He had driven to Dallas from New Mexico for a Fortnite tournament for his brother. Decided to come to another 21 Pilots concert while he was in the area. He went to Denver night 1, first show on this tour. It was his first ever concert. Gave him a bracelet too. And so our group formed. Me, Emily, Cassidy, Fiona, and David. We decided to stick with each other all night. While we were in line, a lady came over and gave us stickers and asked if she could take some photos of us. She was doing a fan portrait project. We got some pics. Eventually, it was time to head into the venue. After getting through security, our numerical line was completely jumbled up. Do you remember that? We were all so frustrated, but it ended up being okay because we got really good spots in the pit. Our group went to take a selfie, and the guy in front of us offered to take the picture. I asked him and the girl he was with if they wanted bracelets, and then we got to talking. The guy's name was Atlas. He was very talkative, and I thought he was pretty cute. He looked a lot to me like Shane Top from Smosh when I first met him, which just so happens to be my celebrity crush at the moment. Atlas has been to like 9 21 Pilots concerts. He's a film guy and plays the drums. These are my first impressions of you. Pretty accurate. The girl with him was named Salika. They met through the film industry. Salika was so cool. She is a stunt double and was in Mission Impossible, Fast and Furious, and Yellowstone. She met Josh and Debbie when recording Fast and Furious, insane, and also has been yelled at by Tom Cruise before. David left and bought everyone in our group waters and Emily a pizza, the sweetest. The concert itself was so much better with them there. A lot of the concert I just spent singing with them and dancing and having fun. Singing next semester with them is a core memory for me. We all exchanged Instagrams at some point and made the infamous Pit Pizza group chat. I missed all of them. I really enjoyed being with all of them. The next day, I got to go to the FPE exhibit. Me and a girl named Heather formed an alliance and took pictures for each other throughout the exhibit. It was so cool, so much memorabilia that was just so surreal to see with my own 2 eyes. Got to go to the Bandito Lounge after, wrote a note for the boys, and got to charge my phone for a bit while sipping a Capri Sun. I went and got merch after, a tour shirt, flag, tote bag, and poster. Then ran those and my FPE merch to the car, and then waited for forever. I finally got to get let in and got to get my elote nachos. I got to my seat, and the guy next to me was ... bigger and was taking up my space too. I really didn't talk to many people. Paul Meany sat 2 rows in front of me. I went down to go talk to him after the show, and he was the sweetest. I gave him and his wife bracelets. Also, before Baloo Brigado went on, my concert friends were blowing up our group chat because the lady who took our photos posted me on her Instagram. Insanity, the best weekend. After I got home that night, after getting Taco Bell, of course, I started social media stalking my new friends and realized Atlas and Caden were friends on Instagram. Turns out Atlas is really good friends with David, Caden's roommate. Small world. Can we talk about Atlas for a bit? We've been texting a bit since the concert, and I feel like I've been getting flirty vibes, and I really hope I'm right. Emily even felt that way during the concert. She told me on the way home, I have prayed for years for the Lord to send me a husband who loves Jesus, firstly, but also loves 21 Pilots. How crazy would it be if I met him at a 21 Pilots concert? Just saying. Atlas came with me to a Glass Animals concert last night. I had the best time. He got there a bit late after the opener, but we talked pretty much the whole concert. He graduated from UNT in 2023 for film and now lives with 3 roommates in a house in Carrollton while being a film freelancer, I wrote. He's the youngest in his family, 23, and has an older sister, 25, an older brother, 27. Most of his family went to the University of Arkansas, and his family are all big Razorback fans. Atlas has the warmest smile. He's a great listener, but a great storyteller as well. I love listening to him. We bounce off of each other so well. We have similar humor. I could feel his authenticity. It wasn't hard being myself around him. Very easy. I didn't want him to leave when we did. It's the little things that stuck out to me. I love his quirkiness and his passions. It's been so long since I felt this way. I like it, smiley face. It's so crazy to me. I would make super niche references and he would pick up on them. So many things. He talked about how crazy it is that we have all these little connections, that it has to be a God thing. He called it meant to be, giggling and kicking my feet. He walked me to my car and I offered to drive him to his, and we talked and talked for like an hour and a half and ended up deciding to go get Taco Bell. He had never tried it before, ? And I placed an online order for us on my app. He paid. He was insistent on it. Usually I pay for friends when I go out, but he physically wouldn't let me. He put $20 in my cup holder and told me if I tried to take it back, he would scream. Oh, meow. We sat and talked at Taco Bell for so long. We drove to a gas station after because I needed to pee, and I went to run in real quick, and he started coming with me. I told him it was okay for him to just wait in the car and that if he wasn't there, I'd be going in by myself anyway. He said, I admire your independence, but you don't have to do things alone all the time. I'm not letting you go into that gas station alone at 12:30 at night. But his just like insistent regard for me makes me feel so seen and cared for. I feel wanted with him. I'm really excited to see him again soon. He mentioned going to the fair together, which sounds so fun. I really hope he was being for real. Lord, thank you so much for putting Atlas in my life. He is a joy to be around. It makes me so disgustingly happy. I pray that you move in his life and make your presence known. I pray that you bless him in his life. I pray for whatever your will is for him. I pray the same for myself. I want what you want for me. It's better than anything I could make happen myself, so I'm giving you control. Move in me, move in others around me. Give me the eyes to see you everywhere and in all things. That is entry number 1. Thoughts, feelings?
What are your thoughts?
It's been very apparent to me from the very beginning what you mean to me. And it's crazy because I feel the same way about you that Olivia on the first day that I met you felt. Which is crazy. I really appreciate that certainty.
It's helpful.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't think that happens to many people very often.
No.
I think it's a very rare thing, and so I just hope not to ever take that for granted. For you?
I got to do with you what I told my guy friends at that point for multiple years, which was to be very transparent with desire, feelings, and plans with one's life. And it's like it's one thing to say that to as a single person, because I was single for virtually all my life. There's like some bits where I wasn't.
Small bits.
Small significant bits.
Yeah.
But small bits for sure. Most of the time was not in a relationship. But I did learn from, I would say, my trusted relationships, which were my parents, my siblings, some of my friends. And then I look at other friends and be like, you should do this, you should do this, you should think about this. And at a certain point, you get jaded and you start just not saying anything. It's more just ask questions. But then I think that the advice that I'd give would always be in question, probably to them, just assuming for the record, of, well, it's like this guy is single. It's not really been in a relationship.
Hasn't really had any success.
So it's like, why would I listen to him? And now I'm here with this beautiful band around my finger and my wife button next to my side, kicking it. And I'm just sitting there like, I wasn't kidding. And everything I said, I applied to myself, at least as much as I possibly could. And I was very transparent with Liv, with her, with you.
You've always been very authentic too.
Yeah.
And very open with exactly where you were at. Mm-hmm. Obviously, from the very beginning, both of us kind of had this desire for one another in a romantic kind of way. Mm-hmm. And like right off the bat, like I think both of us were like, I think I'm going to marry this person. Mm-hmm. But obviously there's fears and anxieties and questions that come with that as well.
Which is why you date.
Yeah, which is why you date. To figure out whether or not that person is actually...
If you're not a Christian, this next piece of advice will not matter. But if you are a Christian, that should, in my opinion, and obviously I am biased, but when you're in a dating relationship, the mindset should be, and correct me if I'm wrong, it should be, I want to marry this person. I'm utilizing this time to make sure that I am educated enough and they are educated enough in me and I in them, so that if and or when we make a decision to marry or not marry, we're doing that from a place of evidence, a lot of thoughts, a lot of prayers, a lot of wise counsel. So you're not sitting there like on month 2 proposing, and more importantly, that you're not sitting at year 10 waiting. Mm-hmm. I think waiting can be very smart to an extent. Like my theory, I told this to her, I was like, 2 to 3 years, I think, is like a solid move for waiting. Obviously, we waited less than that. We waited less than a year. Near a year, but a little less than a year. And I've also seen people that go far. They go years. Like I don't know, Cam or the Blythes. What are they? What are they to me, family wise? It's my brother's wife's parents.
In-laws. It's your brother's in-laws.
There you go. Brother's in-laws. Because I know they're not my in-laws. That'd be interesting.
I think technically...
Are they technically in-laws by association?
I don't know.
I'm going to go brother's in-laws.
I'll look it up on ChatGPT while you do your spiel.
But I think I look at... So I only bring up them because they dated for many, many, many years. I don't think it was over 10, but I think it was closer than they probably want to admit. Not from a place of like, oh, like they just had like weird times. It was just, I think there's just a lot of worry from what I've heard on their story, and obviously they can speak more of it than I can, of just making sure that they make the right decision and making the right call. And obviously they got aligned eventually, and they're married, and they're happily married, and they're killing it. Have 2 beautiful daughters, and one of them is married to my brother. She's great. So it's like different strokes for different folks. We hung out a lot during our relationship.
The relation, by the way, it says there's not a specific term. You would just refer to them as your brother's in-laws or your sister-in-law's parents or your brother's wife's family.
Sure. So you got to have two identifiers.
Yeah.
But,
your sister-in-law's parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you were saying.
I'm saying that when we were dating, we hung out a lot. Obviously, a lot of it was fun.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like I'm just being analytical during our entire relationship, which was not true. Most of the time, we were just chilling. But there was always either a subconscious part of me or a very conscious part of me that was looking in the relationship to her and to me and to us, seeing how we work through either conflict, good times, bad times. How did we deal with certain things? What worldview look like? How do we do life? Would that sink? And if that doesn't sink in every way, can that be changed on either side to make it better? A lot of things in my head that I was like going through checklist wise, because at that point, and she didn't really know this till near the end. Like I had done a ton of work. Not that she didn't know specifically, but she knew generally. You knew generally, but specifically was kind of hazy until I got more specific near the end, because I didn't realize I didn't talk about it. I listened to probably every sermon under the sun about singleness and dating and marriage. Not much of a reader, but I am a big sermon guy, especially on YouTube. So I'll just like play that on drives. Did that basically throughout my UNT years. Went to regeneration at Watermark to deal with my own lust and pornography addictions, and to deal with me as a person, the flesh, what I wanted, resentments, all the things, to be a better Christian, obviously, but more importantly, to be a person worthy enough to be a husband to a wife that I knew I wanted. And I think, especially before Regen, I didn't think I was there. And after Regen, which is when we started dating, I didn't think I was like there, but I definitely knew I was eons farther than I was before. And it's a program I highly recommend if you're in the Dallas area. Regeneration at Watermark, or really anywhere. That program specifically, Regeneration, is in a bunch of churches. Highly recommend if you want to be like a real Christian. I think of it as like real church, in my opinion, but that's besides the point. But there is a lot of work I did on my end personally, and I know she did on hers, that before we even got there into like discovering each other in the relationship and if it would work or not, there was a true mindset of, we're not here to mess around. We're not trying to waste time. And yeah, a year is like, doesn't sound like a lot of time. If you utilize it well, for me, it's enough time.
It's plenty of time.
And I told her, and she knows this, like I like taking my time. I will take years on an album and I won't release it, you know? I'll take a lot of time on projects.
But it's crazy because you've always been a big skeptic, and even after, I think maybe a month, and we were like, I think this may lead to marriage. You were like, give me 1 year.
Yeah.
And you had stood firmly for years on 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's just all I knew.
Yeah. But
I also think there's just like an asterisk next to it, which is like what I've learned in like sales and just people in general. It's not the time that you need, it's information.
Yes.
It is never time. It is. There is no such thing as, well, if I just wait enough time, I will feel better. It's like, no. There is time plus information gained, which time is necessary for you to intake information, but not nearly as much time as you think. It's like, I don't know, it's like kind of like buying anything. Like I said, with sales, if you're buying a car and somebody's like, say you want a RAV4 and you go into a dealership and say it's $40,000, and they're like, oh, that's so much, or whatever, or they give you all the information. You're like, I just need more time. The best salesman will not let you leave because they know inherently, obviously they want to sell you something, but Usually the best salesmen are just like, I'm just trying to make sure that I find the customer right for you, for this car. So they're not trying to force you into anything. Obviously they can't. If they could, they probably would. But since they can't, they won't. And they're trying to figure out whether or not you're actually going to buy, and actually buy at a price that makes sense for them too. And so it's really just an information exchange. And I kind of couldn't see our dating relationship any other way. And a lot of spiel to that first entry for the journal, but yeah, I was very intentional. Like the second I knew I was going to start dating her, I was like, all right, well, I'm not messing around. Like I'm not old, but I'm not in my teens. So it's like there's only so much time, and I'm like, if I know that I want to spend the rest of my life with somebody, specifically her, my biggest
Then why
thing.
would I wait?
I have no desire to wait. It's the same thing when I know when I have the money for the product that I want, and I know I want it. The difference between me having it and me not having it is time. It's the time of when I, hit buy online and when I get it. It's a very simple arithmetic. But I only hesitate buying when I don't believe I have enough information to be sure in my decision. And throughout our dating relationship, it just became very, very clear that the only reason I wouldn't marry her was through fear. Which to me, I was like, well, that's not a good enough reason to not, do the thing.
Well, I think you made like a great point. Like, I don't think people see that enough with the way that culture is now. That what dating is technically designed for is feeling out somebody and seeing, getting all of your questions answered, basically. Trying to fully understand somebody, or to the best extent you can, because we still learn things about each other every day.
And as it should be.
But it's ultimately figuring out, is this somebody that I want to try and figure out the rest of my life based on, and sometimes that does, people would prefer to have more time.
Which fair.
You know what I mean?
Got to go through different seasons.
Yeah, get
figure
through
out
different
who they
seasons,
are.
for
And
sure.
A lot of time, you don't have a lot of time in between with them.
And unfortunately, in our culture nowadays, dating is it's got a different kind of cultural tint on it, which is more like, how can you serve me, and how can
Well, it's a trade.
I serve? Yeah, it's like, what do we have to provide each other? There's also the kind of hookup culture that, like, how are you going to know if you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody if you haven't even seen them naked? You haven't even...
Well, it's called social modularity.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, well, do you fit into my life?
Yes.
Which
is a very selfish way to look at it.
It was one thing that stopped me from saying no to her, because I was like, well, if I say no to her, like say if I did, I had this conversation, not verbally, but like prayer-wise with God. I really felt it was calling on my heart of, hey, you don't know when you'll find a person as compatible or that will like you in the near future. You don't know how long that might be. And by statistics of your own life, you're looking at around 6 years, which you will then be 30, which you will probably have a different life and a very hard to coalesce, sanctify life. And that's hard. I know people that are like dating in their older age, and older is obviously relative, but it's like, say, 30s or 40s, and you haven't married yet. And my heart goes out to those people for a multitude of reasons. But I'm also like, I know that if I could prevent myself from getting there, and instead of having a life that tries to, clash and morph into the other person's life, I would substantially much rather have a life that I've built with somebody else next to me near the beginning of it. Because the great thing is that
then we grow together.
We grow together.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Well, I was also going to say, culturally, dating is very performative. Mm-hmm. Which is really tough, because usually it does take time with this society that we have right now to break down walls and actually figure out who somebody is.
People play games.
Yeah.
And I that was one thing I also knew about her. You did not play games.
What I was going to say is, like, truly from the beginning, both me and you were like, hey, let's be upfront and honest. This is where we're both at. Yeah. And it was like, just the upfront vulnerability, I think, made both of us feel very safe, because it's like, hey, here are all the things that I would have hidden.
Yes.
And would have come out eventually, but instead I'm just going to tell you like day 2,
Yeah.
And that was something that was very helpful for both of us, I think, because it was like, I can trust this person. There's not going to be any like major surprises, which is good. And it took us, a handful of months to just kind of understand how each other worked. But it doesn't take that long, If you go over to somebody's house multiple times a week, there's bound to be a time where they're not prepared, and you see their dirty laundry or how they leave their sink or, whatever. And that's something that's important too. But it's like all those little things, like you have to figure out what it is that works and doesn't work for a person to you, specifically to you. And so, I think you make a lot of really good points there, but I think that is the thing with people nowadays. It's way too performative in every sense. Like, even to me with like makeup and how much time women take to make themselves presentable, I think a lot of men I've seen feel a little bit
Blindsided.
blindsided when the woman eventually feels comfortable enough to not have to put on the show, and it's like, I feel kind of catfished, and it's not like, it's like maybe they would have felt, better about it if after your night out you took off your makeup instead of waking up before he did to put on your face and then get back in bed so that he only sees you with makeup on. Like there's just... Anyway, I think we just all try so hard for society. I think this is social media is really what's corrupted this. But it's like, what image am I putting out? And this is the version of me that I want you to see, very carefully curated. Whereas we are all flawed humans, and there is always going to be things that people won't like about you. There's always going to be bad characteristics about you, and it's best, in our opinions, to be forthcoming with it if you're trying to be in a serious relationship, and to keep intimacy out of it as well until you get married. Because that should be a driving factor that pulls you to want to be committed and to pursue that covenant. That's my spiel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a long spiel for journal entry number 1, but I still do think it's a great topic of conversation. I think it's worthy of being on here. So, yeah. From earlier today, we went to church, got up, went to church. Our church has just started a series on the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and this week was the Father. Pretty good message. He referenced a lot of really good verses. And gave a personal testimony that was pretty inspiring, I think, as well, and vulnerable. And I was wondering why. He's one of the interim pastors at Hope Fellowship, but we've not seen him yet, and we've been there a bunch of times, and it's because he's been going through a bunch of surgeries and personal things the past handful of months since we started going there, so obviously, tough on him, but nevertheless, great sermon. After that, we went and picked up some Panda Express, which, by the way, Panda Express is one of the best fast food places you can go to get your macros in at a good price. It is so freaking good. I will go and I will get a plate with double grilled teriyaki chicken, no sauce, and super greens. which is bomb, by the way. Put some sriracha on there and some salt and pepper. Bomb. So good. And the whole plate is under 600 calories and over 70 grams of protein. Bomb. So good. And I told Atlas about it the other day, and he's like, man, yeah, that is a really good deal. And if you don't want that much protein, that's like way too much, then just get a bowl, and it's $2 less. If you want more protein, get a bigger plate. It's so smart. Anyway, we love Panda Express. I got a bigger plate today and then split it in half, and that's going to be my lunch for tomorrow as well. And it's got like 50 grams of protein in it, which is insane. And I spent $12 on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We also, this weekend, went to go see The Devil Wears Prada 2. We did talk about this a couple weeks ago. Atlas and I watched the first one. Atlas had never seen it. You did give your feelings on it a couple weeks ago. And kind of the reason we went to go watch it was, or the reason that we watched it a couple weeks ago was because we knew this one was coming out. And I wanted to go see it, and I wanted Atlas to go see it. And it is an iconic movie that everyone references and talks about. So anyway, we were pretty disappointed, to say the least. You want to take it from here?
Yes, it is a cash grab.
Yeah.
There's no substance to the movie.
Not
It was
really.
clearly Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and Emily Blunt trying to get a bag, which you do whatever you want. And to be fair, it has made a lot of money in the box office for the notoriety of The Devil Wears Prada. And,
Well, it's made more than the first movie has ever made in total.
like,
From box office and total sales up till now.
yeah.
It surpassed the first movie, which is insane.
Which doesn't technically mean it's a good film. For the record.
No.
Which,
I think it's in the 70% range on Rotten Tomatoes.
which I've never liked. I mean, I think Interstellar's in the 70%, which I have a problem with personally. But, yeah.
But the story was about Andy, the girl, Anne Hathaway. She, in the first movie, was a assistant for Meryl Streep's character, Miranda. And she ended up breaking away and going and pursuing journalism and not letting Meryl Streep absolutely.
Was very dissatisfied at Devil Wears Prada 2. They ruined Miranda.
Yeah.
It's a Reddit / movie critic Reddit thread, and I holistically agree, for the record.
Yeah, but basically the story was, even though Andy left and went to pursue journalism, which was the whole thing that she was wanting in the first place, 20 years later, she gets fired from the place that she is working at, and then gets hired to go work at, is it called Runway?
Yeah.
Runway, the magazine that she was the assistant for Miranda at years ago, but for journalism. And it was just, there was a lot wrong with it. They kept trying to make it more current times because it's obviously less about magazines and more about social media and articles and that kind of thing now. They kept trying to pull culturally significant people as cameos and that type of thing to get some sort of credibility there. But overall, the timeline felt very rushed. The pacing was terrible. There was not really any substance. It was like this, and then 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 this. And it was like...
It's the and then trope,
Yeah.
which are all bad stories.
Yeah. And so it was just this whole spiel. And that article, that Reddit post that you just had read explains one part very well. Miranda Priestly, the, pardon my French, bitchy fashion magazine head, in the first movie, the whole point of it, she is the devil who wears Prada. She lost everything in her life because she cared so much about fashion in her industry and her job. And she was trying to force Anne Hathaway's character to do the same thing, and she said she wasn't going to. And in this movie, it's like you just slowly start to see her character melt, which is not, that like completely defeats the purpose of her character. I thought it was very bold of them in the first movie to not have any sort of bend or give to that character at all. There's not emotions shown at all. Besides me, F you, get out of my way. And in this one, it like showed heart, which it's so cool that they were able to portray that character, and she had a following of people who loved that character because of how controversial she was. And because of her not wanting to back down, and because it's so real, because there are so many people out there who are just like that, selfish narcissists who do not care about anybody and don't have, like, they literally don't appear to have a heart, and they're never going to. And I don't think that that's shown enough in movies. I think they're all about redemption. And the cool thing about the first movie was that there wasn't redemption for her. She just crashed and burned, and that's what happened. And in this movie, they gave her redemption, which was stupid to me, because that's not what needed to happen. Thoughts?
Yeah, she does not like that.
I really don't like that. It completely defeats the purpose of the first movie, and there wasn't supposed to be a sequel.
It's very simple. The story was bad for the fact that there were no stakes. There is no way for you to actually feel that somebody was going to lose. It always felt like they had the answer, and the answer was always right. There was never like a trial and error. It was always just like, oh, we do this. Oh, that worked, great. And then there would be like times where they try to set up and pay off something which is literally just the main characters, leaving the venue of wherever they're at, and then like 10 minutes later they show what they did. They're like, what happened here? It's like, well, actually, this is what happened. I'm just like, that's not how that's stupid writing. That's being like, well, we're not going to tell you what happens. It's like, that's not earned at all. And so I think that's ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't like it. And like, I love what I think the only redeeming factors of it was the fact that Meryl Streep was great.
She was a great actress. The only parts where I laughed or had a moment where I was like, that was good. It was with her.
Yeah, I liked her. I like BJ Novak. I think he did great. He always does great in anything. And I have a feeling that the lines that I liked were the lines that he wrote. He's a writer. And so...
In case you didn't know.
Well, you can just feel it, you know?
Yeah.
Versus those who are probably new to acting, specifically Caleb Hodges, I think. Caleb Heron. And love the guy. I think he's very funny.
He's a great comedian.
I think because of how the scale of production and his notoriety compared to everybody else's, which was lack thereof, he probably just had to do what he was told, which I think fair in a movie kind of setting like that.
I also think he would be a great actor if he was just playing a character that was basically him. But the character he was playing was not him.
Well, it was more tight, and he's not necessarily tight. He's a run loose kind of guy, and he's smart enough to be able to do that well. Mm-hmm. And I just think there are lines that were like, oh, that's really cool, and then there's like most of it where I was just like, you're just reading off a script, which I know you're reading off a script, but I'm like, don't make it sound like you're reading off a script. Like Tucci didn't do that, and Hathaway didn't do that. Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, like a lot of them didn't feel like they were doing that. Even Lady Gaga sounded good, honestly.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of shocked that she wasn't even there.
And then also that one Indian actress, what's her name?
Oh yeah, I know her from the TV show Sex Education.
I know her from Bridgerton.
Yeah, I think most people do. But I do know. I've always loved her as an actress. I think she does great stuff. she did an amazing job being the assistant. She was definitely
Simone Ashley.
Yeah, the actress. She did a good Emily 2.0, which is what she takes the place of the other Emily,
Emily Blunt.
And Emily Blunt. But yeah, either way, I just know what I can't come for when it comes to movies. I didn't get with the Devil Wears Prada 2. I did get it with Devil Wears Prada 1. I thought that was really good. I don't think it was like a great movie, but I do think it was really, really solid, and I understand why it's a cult classic. But there was no reason for this to be a number 2. And,
I agree.
And Liv called it, and I was like, you're probably right, but let's see it. And we watched it, and we were like, and throughout the movie, we were like, this is bad. Like, verbally, we were like, this is a bad movie.
It was like within the first 5 minutes, I was like, this isn't going to be good.
I could tell, like, production-wise, I can tell when it's cheap from the color grade, or when it's just, when it's more conveyor belty, like where it's just very, I don't know, at-scale production. Clearly, Universal was using their regular people, not trying to be anything creative, which I'm not saying you have to be creative, but, like, the cinematography and the lighting specifically for Devil Wears Prada 1 substantially look better than number 2. And I can get into the technicals, but it just does. The color grade does not look good. It looks honestly really cheap, shockingly. The sets look cool because they did do a lot of worldwide, nationwide stuff.
And a lot of New York. Big cities are always cool looking.
They inherently look cool, but even then, there was just like a...
And you can get cool shots of skylines and stuff too.
You can, and there's just like there's redemptive parts of it to the production and even story wise, but majority of it was a story problem. Some of it was an acting thing, but majority was story. And we've talked about this before. I talked about this with her at length, where I'm like, hey, there's a reason why we are taking so much time on the script for our movie, for Zenith. And it's not because I necessarily want to, but because I know that if we go into this with not good bones, which is what I call the script, which is the body, in my opinion. If you think of the movie, a movie like a body, I think of the script like bones. It's like, you can have the best skin, best eyes, you can have the best face in the world, but without bones, it doesn't matter. Like, there ain't no product that's going to save you. If you got weak bones, it is what it is. You're going to break soon. And I believe that with movies to a T. But leaving the movie theater, I was very, very happy to leave the movie theater. I did not want to be there.
We were both like preparing to get out of there.
Yeah, and it was like I think the showing was at 9:15, and it didn't really start until like 9:30, 9:45 because of commercials. I'm just kind of sitting there like halfway through, I was like, I don't like to just leave movies, but I'm getting to that point. I'm tired.
I would have left with you.
Yeah. But I was like, but sometimes even they might give me the first half, you know, and maybe they pull in the second half. It's a rarity, but it happens, and it just didn't occur. So I was just like, all right, well, let's go.
We probably would have had a better view of it if we left in the first half.
Probably, because it was just cliche. It was just very cash grabby cliche, kind of just like, well, like we're back and we're doing the same characters and yeah.
And you miss us.
And I'm like, I didn't miss you that much.
Yeah.
But not me, you know? So it's like, some people really liked it because of the fact that it was just straight nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, not for me, mate. Not for me.
Speaking of writing, yesterday, did you finish the entire thing?
Of Desire? No.
First half.
No, it was technically more than the first half because I realized most of the scenes I had...
Well, Atlas wrote Desire.
I wrote a lot of Desire.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Which is the third of the script, which is the third EP in the whole trifecta of Zenith.
And so you did over half of the last one.
I did over half, but the weird thing is that so obviously we finished the outline. I threw the outline into chat, being like, Gemini specifically, to be like, hey, make a Google sheet so I can track my progress of going through these scenes. And like some scenes are like this much, like an eighth, and some other scenes are like 10 pages. So it's like it's unfortunately not a linear process, which is completely fine, because when it's just a short scene, I'm like, yes, I can just like knock it off. And then like an hour later, I'm like one scene, I'm like, I'm not even halfway done. I have so much to do. And so it's a roller coaster. But got through a lot of Desire. Most of it, from what I've seen scene-wise on my list, is just montage. And so that's very, very simple for me to write. I add some stuff, I take away some stuff, but I'm realizing that I'll probably be able to finish this very close, probably early of this week, because I'm already antsy to like get to the end so that we can like lay it down and be like, all right, what works? Because we're gonna, I don't know if I've told you this, but I'm sure you have this assumed as well, but I want to sit down with both of us and we read it out loud for the first time, really, and be like, all right, what is working, what doesn't, like read through it entirely, have like a notepad somewhere.
The first poke through,
Which will be with us,
Yeah.
and be like, all right, this dialogue isn't working, or this scene isn't working, this needs a shift here, what does and it's like, just have that conversation for a long time, and then it's like, until we get to a point where we're like, man, this is like so solid. Because I can tell that in my head already, especially getting through Desire, I'm like, I know there's probably going to be certain major things we need to shift logically. And it'll probably be minor in like what actually has to be done, but major in how it is sequenced. But I can't know that until the script's finished. So, like, not really.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited.
Are you happy with how it turned out yesterday?
Yeah. I think, like I said before, I didn't get through all of it, so it's really hard for me to be like, well, I love how Desire turned out, because I'm like, I haven't written all Desire yet.
Yeah.
So I can't really say that with confidence, but I can say that, I mean, it's definitely the best thing I've ever written, for sure, which is very helpful, because I have a beautiful wife next to me that is also a writer, which another reason why I married her. I'm like, we can make things together forever. This is great.
Yay!
So that's one thing that I think I do not take for granted, at least I try not to. It's the fact that she is a writer, and I can create and collaborate with her instead of, which this is not to re-up on the first half of this podcast, but like the people that I had considered, never in my wildest dreams that I like even considering that with them. I'm like, oh, I can actually collaborate with them too on creative projects. With her, it was like not immediate, but it was pretty early on where we were like, hey, like actually, like, oh, you can touch on my creative project. Oh, you like draw and stuff, you write and stuff. What does that mean? And start to realize that there is a creative head in there that just hasn't really expressed much publicly. And I'm just like, hey, like, I mean, I got these projects. You want to help? And you're like, yes.
That sounds like fun.
I would like to do that. Do I get to hang out with you? And I'm like, yes. And you're like, all right, then great.
Little Shovua?
Yes. You're like, even better. And so, just a perk of Olivia Scott. But overall, throughout this process, I'm just like really happy with how it's turning out. It's a movie. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm like keeps hitting me in a lot of ways. I just want to do the story.
Well, it's crazy because you've never done something of this length.
Not this scale.
And
not
this detail.
No. I don't think I've ever really given myself the shot.
And the cool thing is it's definitely achievable, even with the current resources that we have.
Just gotta pull every favor.
But I gotta tell you, it is definitely possible. We did it with our wedding.
It's true.
We are great when we put our minds together when it comes to organizing something.
It's pretty
We're
impossible
so
to fail when we're both working at it.
Yeah.
Because if one of us gets discouraged, the other picks up. And if we're both encouraged, then we slay.
We excel crazily.
We're pretty unstoppable in that sense.
Yeah.
You just got to get on the same page, which we are almost always on.
We've got about 10 minutes, by the way.
Right.
We have dinner with Atlas's parents in Addison.
Yeah.
So we do have a little bit of a timer.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to talk about was Atlas's career currently. We have talked about this for months now on here with different directions and steps and things that you've been doing to try and further your business or to grow it or that kind of thing. And we've actually kind of come to a stall with that the past couple of weeks, because you've come to this realization that doing your media business actually takes away from the excitement and drive that you have for doing media related things, because it kind of burns you out a bit. It makes you lose your drive for the things you actually want to do. And so we're kind of going back to the drawing board there and trying to see what other options there could potentially be for you career-wise. And it's hard and confusing and discouraging in some ways. But I do think it's good that we're figuring it out together, you know? And that you are recognizing patterns within yourself and that you're smart enough to recognize that kind of thing as well. I don't think everybody is. I think sometimes people just dig and go too far and build up something. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've loved movies and creating movies for 18 years. That's a true number, by the way. 18. I'm 25. Do the math on that one. I've loved it. And I've done it professionally, not full-time, but professionally for about 10 years. Full-time for about 4, debatably. Probably more or less, depending on where you start. And a few eye-opening moments for me was, one, finally supporting myself on my own. My parents very lovingly put me through college, through UNT. Paid for virtually all expenses within the college time. In summer, I had to do my own thing, but in the in the span of the semesters, they got me, which I will always be very honored that they do that. They did that for my siblings. They did it for me. I think it's really nice that they did that. They also didn't force me to go to college. I did a gap year because I didn't want to go to college. There's a whole story there that I won't get into. I just didn't want to go to college. But I went to college, looked at the landscape of videography in Dallas, and then was able to, through a bunch of connections, got on a set for Paramount, and have semi-consistently been on a Paramount set for like the last 2 years. And not for like a long time, but just like a week at a time spurts. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed the cost of being on set, specifically what it would take to be like a regular professional on like a narrative fiction set. And it's very discouraging, and it's very unattractive to me as a person. Like I got into this because I wanted to create what I wanted to create, specifically, especially a little bit later on, especially in high school. Like I wanted to express myself through my art, which is what I believe movies were for me and are for me, and what music became for me.
Technically, it's kind of for selfish purposes why you love your art so much.
Yeah.
But the goal is that through your deep passion for it, mm-hmm. And the way that it helps you express yourself, that you could pursue it in a way that would move other people and not just benefit you, but benefit other people. But that's a really hard place to just get to. Like there's no step-by-step guide. That's kind of something that just has to fall in your lap.
Yeah.
Really.
There are things you can actively do, but there's not. If there was a set path, everybody would be famous.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, it's like you really just have to keep doing what you do, and if it picks up traction and people start liking it, then that's you're in. But if that doesn't happen, then you're just that's it.
You're working for nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like nothing is guaranteed. But what I know is what has been really encouraging, but also discouraging to pursue this career that I thought I wanted, is the fact that I see these big budget productions like Paramount or other productions with millions or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to make these grandiose things, either narrative fiction or commercial. And I'm like, oh, it's just scale. You just have more money and more notoriety. And you might be like, are you denoting or devaluing those aspects. I'm like, I'm not trying to, but I know for me, I don't need everybody to like me, and she knows this. I don't need that.
Obviously, we all want everybody to
It would be really
want us.
cool. Like
Yeah.
if I could sell American Airlines for NXP, that'd be awesome. Like I wouldn't say no to that. Sounds awesome. Sounds like I can make a great show and have fun. Potentially impact people. I also know that as a Christian, to pursue worldly things in that way is sinful. If that's the sole purpose of my life, to just glorify myself in that way. And so since I know I can't full send that, it's, by the way, it's a toss-up of whether or not that's successful or not, then I've had to reevaluate. I'm like, all right, cool. So since that can't be the goal, and I don't really want it to be the goal because I know that's not where life is found. Like I'm on no level sad about that. I'm like, but like, what does the future look like? I'm like, well, obviously I've told this to her and we've discussed this, like we want a family. We want kids. Not now, but
Eventually.
whenever God wants us. So hopefully in the next 5 years. That's the goal. After 5 years, that is. But
When one of us is 30.
one of us is 30. Since I'm older, you can guess. I'm 25 right now. Do the math. And I look at that, and she saw it with the journal. And this is insider ball and information, but I went to my journal to write a lot of the time when she saw it, as we were kind of like scrolling through it, just a lot of sadness and a lot of despair and depression, because I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. I wouldn't have anybody to really dispel my disparages to, because I really didn't feel like it was fair to give people that kind of hopelessness, knowing full well I didn't really want to probably take advice that they would give in the moment, which would be from love, that they were giving me advice, but I'd come from a place of like, but I'm still struggling. And I don't want to change, so please don't tell me anything.
Yeah.
And of course now, and she saw, like when I met her, I did like one entry, and then it jumped to Oklahoma, my retreat, and then that was it.
Until now.
And I haven't written it until then, and I still haven't.
So it was September of 2024.
Yeah.
And then
May.
June.
Yeah.
Of 2025.
Yeah.
And now we're in May of 2026, which is insane because
It's
the
along the
concentration of those entries before, it was like at least every couple weeks.
Either weeks, sometimes days, sometimes a few months, but never crossing a few months.
Never a year jump.
Never even got to like 6 months, I don't think.
Yeah, that's really insane.
But it's nice to look back in that, not to like reminisce, to be like, oh, look how sad I was. Let's be sad again. My thinking was, when I was looking back in that, I was like, oh yeah, like my life is better. Life is found.
Look how far I've come.
Look how far I've come. I'm not sad
Yeah.
nearly as much as I was before, or despairing, if you will. And so it's helpful to know that, because it's like, and I told this to her, I'm like, I'm at a point career-wise that at first, like I was doing this because I knew I needed it to feel validated. Now I am validated. So what am I doing this for? And so there's just been this deconstruction of where I thought I was trying to go. And now, in subsequent nature, a construction of where I'm trying to figure out where I should go, which will come with a lot of prayer and research. And she's helping me with that. And we're just trying to figure it out. And I personally just would like a steady paycheck. It would be awesome. And not have to put my creative energy into things that I don't necessarily care about, and lose that energy for creative projects that I do care about, like Annex B and Golden Sword Films. And I don't want to.
But it's tough because your degree is in that.
Yes.
And so.
I can't just shift.
Yes.
I don't necessarily want to shift, but it's like.
So the goal is like, we want you to be able to use your skills, but we want you to not feel burnt out. And we want you to feel like you're encouraged to do what you do, in whatever it is that you do. And that whatever job that you do end up having, that you do have time to do your own creative endeavors as well.
It's compartmentalization at that point.
So we're trying to figure it out. We do have a couple of ideas, and we're going to do some applying and all of that. But right now, we're kind of at a little bit of a standstill, but we'll let y'all know next week if anything happens this next week. You know, as it comes with Atlas's career, specifically his career crisis.
Yeah, I don't think it's that intense.
No, it's not. And the craziest thing too is like this feels like honestly probably midlife crisis heavy to you right now.
I mean, we're at a quarter life right now,
which is so funny because it's nowhere even close to that. You could still do 2 different careers before you retired.
Potentially retiring.
In like a full stint.
Yeah.
Like a full impressive stint of time for both of them.
Yeah.
Because of how young you are.
Yeah.
You could do that for 20 years at each career.
I would like to
which is insane.
Do that for
yes. But what I'm saying is you have a lot of time ahead of you, and we're not at a place where, like, technically right now we could live off of just what I make, especially if we downsize some right now. So that's very encouraging as well, because that means that if Atlas does need some time to figure it out, he has something to fall back on. But it also does give incentive to try and find something that works so that you do have the funding to be able to pursue creative endeavors as well. Because it's not cheap. Let me just tell you all that.
No. It was never cheap.
To do his creative endeavors well, it always costs at least $200 per project.
Yeah.
At least.
Which, she doesn't know this, but that's a very cheap number.
Oh, yeah. No, I know it's a very cheap number.
Relatively, because of all the skill.
That's why I said at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
if
spend
he's
way
going
more if I could.
Yeah. And obviously, that's us trying to be conscious. So, anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We got to head out of here. We got to head
skedoodle.
to Addison for dinner.
That's us.
Yeah.
May 17th.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
2026.
I don't know.
Happy 11th birthday to Blurry Face.
1-1.
We love you, Blurry Face.
Love you, Blurry Face.
And tomorrow is Atlas's birthday.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Crazy.
Only a few people will understand that, and that's okay.
It's very true.
Yeah. Anyway, we love y'all. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. And we're cutting.